Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Jade. It is great to have you here. So today's a very exciting video. Here are the books that I want to read for Hispanic Heritage Month and some books that I believe you should read for Hispanic Heritage Month. So before we begin, I want to go ahead and say don't forget to follow me on my other socials. I'm on TikTok and Instagram at Jade's Books 5. I post a lot of short form videos over on my TikTok and a lot of bookish posts and most of my reviews over on my Instagram. So go check that out if you want to. But let's go ahead and get into the video. The first book that I want to pick up for Hispanic Heritage Month is The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. This one follows the main character. Her name is Beatrice. This is in the aftermath of the Mexican War of Independence. She gets this marriage proposal from this man and she accepts it, despite the fact that the man's first wife had an untimely demise. But she accepts it because she feels as if this is her chance to get out of the complications that the war has caused. But she believes that the hacienda, this man, is her way out. It's going to be her safe haven, her refuge. But when she gets to the hacienda, she realizes that it is not what she was expecting and it is not going to be the home that she thought it was going to be, because Beatrice fears the house at night. She's all alone because her new husband has gone away for work and she's having dreams. She hears voices. She's just really scared of the house. So she really leans on this priest. His name is Andres, for help, but he's not a regular priest. He's like a witch that helps fight off supernatural entities, because it turns out that there's this dark spirit haunting the hacienda. I'm super excited for this book. I plan on reading it in October when it starts getting a bit cooler here. Not technically cold, but a little cooler, and where the spooky vibes are just there, because this one screams like spooky scary movie type of book. So I'm really excited to read this one. This one's the first book on my Hispanic Heritage Month TBR list. The second one is Dominicana by Angie Cruz. This one follows the main character. Her name is Ana. She also gets this marriage proposal by this man named Juan, and he proposed, and she very reluctantly accepts it, but she does because he's going to take her to New York City, and this is a way for her whole family to be able to go and immigrate to the United States. So while she's there, a bunch of stuff happens back in DR, which causes Juan to go back home and deal with it, like a lot of political turmoil, things like that. And so this leaves Ana by herself with her brother-in-law Carlos. And so she's now free to take English lessons, to go dancing, all these other things that she didn't have the opportunity to do when she was married to Juan and being watched by Juan. But all of a sudden Juan comes back and she is very conflicted as to what she wants to choose, which is protect her family and just be with Juan, or follow her heart and do all the things that she wants to be able to do by herself. So this one's really fun. I've had this on my physical TBR for a while, but I feel like reading this for Hispanic Heritage Month is the perfect excuse to finally be able to pick up this book. The next book we have is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I don't know what this book is about, and I'm a bit confused as to what it's about. I keep reading the back, but from what I gathered, it follows our main character. Her name is Naomi. She gets this frantic letter from her cousin telling her to come to High Point, which is a house in the Mexican countryside. When she gets there, cousin's husband tries to intimidate her. All these people are just being a little weird, but she is not one to be intimidated. She's a strong woman, and her only ally is the family's youngest son, but even he himself has secrets, and she is slowly drawn into the terrifying world that comes with High Point. So this one I probably also will read in October once it gets a little bit spookier outside, if that makes sense. But this one has been just raved about. I've heard so many good things about this book. It is super popular, and again, I'm excited to pick this up and have an excuse to read it for Hispanic Heritage Month. The next book that I have is Malas by Marcela Fuentes. This one is, I don't know if it's told in a split timeline, but our story does begin in the 50s, where this mysterious woman casts a curse on Bilad and her entire family because a mysterious woman believes that Bilad stole her husband. Flash forward 40 years later, we follow Lulu. It says that she's it's close to her quinceañera, so she's 14, 15 years old, and her grandmother dies, and she is drawn to this mysterious stranger that shows up at her grandmother's funeral. They form an unlikely friendship, and as Lulu's quinceañera comes, we move through the past and the present, and secrets start being unveiled of the family. This one sounds also really interesting. I am super excited to read it. The cover is so pretty. It's what drew me to the book in the first place, but I cannot wait to get my hands on it and actually sit down and start reading this book. The next book that I have is How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents by Julia Alvarez. This one follows four sisters, Carla, Sandra, Yolanda, and Sophia, as they flee the Dominican Republic with their parents after the dictator Rafael Trujillo is uncovered in the Dominican Republic. So they arrive in New York City in 1960, and the parents are trying really hard to keep the Dominican Republic's culture and traditions alive, whereas the girls are embracing American culture. They're straightening their hair, they're wearing American fashions, they're losing Spanish and speaking more English. So they're caught between two places, but they're starting to feel at home here in the States, even though it technically is, but technically isn't. So this book follows their journey, and I cannot wait to finally pick this one up and read it also. So here's some books that you should read in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, and the first one is When Javi Dumped Mari by Mia Sosa. Mia Sosa is Brazilian, if I'm not mistaken. Her family's from Brazil. I think she's from Brazil as well. But a lot of the characters that she writes about are from Hispanic countries, and I think her herself is half Hispanic. So I am going to include this one in this little list, but this one follows our main characters, Javi and Mari. They met when they were in college, and Javi has had a big old crush on Mari since he met her. But Javi never acts on it because he felt like he needed to get his life together before he could finally tell Marisol his true feelings about her. So a few years later, when he finally feels like he has his life together, he decides he's going to sit Marisol down and tell her that he loves her. Except Marisol brings her fiance to the dinner and announces to Javi that she is actually engaged to be married. So what ensues in the present timeline, because it is a split timeline where we go back and forth between their friendship, is Javi tries to break up Marisol and her fiance because he believes that he should be the one to have her. This one was a fun book. I think this cover is also super pretty. If you want to read a book in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, I definitely recommend this one. If you like split timelines, complicated relationships, this one might be for you. The next one that I recommend is To Selena with Love by Chris Perez, which was Selena Quintanilla's husband. If you don't know who Selena was, she was this Tejano singer from the 90s. She's very popular in Texas and in Mexico. She just took the Tejano world by storm. She was the first woman to break out in the Tejano music scene, and she definitely left her mark. She's even known as the queen of Tejano music. Unfortunately, she was murdered at 23 when she was on top of her game, and this book is written by her husband, like I said, her husband Chris, as he just tells the story of who Selena was, who they were together, and then the events leading up to her murder and the aftermath of it. It is such a sad story. I promise you, if you read this, you are going to be sobbing by the end of it, especially if you grew up listening to her music and if you just knew her already. The next book I have to recommend is You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria. This one follows our main character. She's a telenovela star. Her name is Jasmine Lynn Rodriguez, and it follows her right after she has this very messy public breakup. So she goes back to New York to star in this bilingual rom-com, but the casting of another telenovela star, Ashton Suarez, just shakes everything up. So Ashton recently got killed off of his last telenovela, and he's scared that his career is not going to recover it. So when he gets added last minute to this new show with Jasmine, he believes that this is going to be his chance to break out into the American movie scene, and he'll get Hollywood offers and all these things. And so he decides that he is just going to do really good. He's going to have so much chemistry with Jasmine that'll help him bring the hype to the show and let people know who he is. But they had a horrible first impression of each other, so it's easier said than done. And so they decide to rehearse off camera, but that leads to some kissing, which leads to other things. So they're on screen, chemistry improves, but off screen, the tabloids are really messing with Jasmine and Ashton. But Jasmine's just scared that it's going to destroy her new image, and Ashton's afraid that it's going to reveal one of his top secret things. I haven't read this in a while, but I do recommend it because I think I did enjoy it when I read it. But the cover is also really pretty. It literally gives telenovela, so they did a pretty great job. And then the final book that I have for you is Next Year in Havana by Chanel Clayton. Oh my gosh, I read this book when I was 14 or 15 years old, and I absolutely loved it. I was sobbing by the end of it. I couldn't even tell y'all what this book is about off the top of my head, but I just remember absolutely loving it. So it is a split timeline. Follow Eliza Perez, the 19-year-old daughter of a sugar baron in Havana in 1958. And we follow her journey through the political turmoil that Cuba experiences at this time. And then years later in Miami in 2017, we follow Marisol, and she grew up hearing stories of Cuba from her grandmother Eliza. Unfortunately, Eliza's family is forced to flee Cuba after, things like Fidel Castro come to light. But she decides to return to Havana to come face to face with the contrast of Cuba's tropical, beautiful, timeless beauty and then its perilous political climate and culture that it has. Family secrets come to light while she's over there, and she knows she's going to need her grandmother's lessons to help her understand what the meaning of courage is and what it means to be Cuban. Like I said, this one was so good. I read it when I was 14 or 15 years old. I definitely recommend this book. If you pick any of these ones up, let it be this one, or To Selena with Love. Let it be that one also. But I definitely recommend this one as well. I know that there are so many books out there written by Hispanic authors. I don't hear a lot about them. Unfortunately, I am trying my best, especially as a Hispanic woman. I want to read more books that showcase my culture and my people and just the country where my family's from, which is Mexico. But these are all the ones that I have so far that I read and that I would recommend to y'all, or ones that I haven't read, but I am wanting to read. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you subscribe if you want to see more. I am trying my best over here, and I cannot wait to read some of these books and tell y'all my thoughts. And if you read some of the ones that I recommend or some of the ones that I want to read and it jumped out to you, you want to read them too, please let me know what y'all think of them. I am really wanting to hear y'all's thoughts on them, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.